Hello, my name is William Cardwell, and this is my Adolescent Psychology Project 2 submission. I chose for this project the infographic submission. Now, just a little bit of preface. I would rather not be recording it this way. I tried to use PowerPoint and I tried to use Windows Movie Maker, but either it was low quality or it just would not work. So unfortunately, this is the best way to present this project. If that does not work for you, or if there's anything else, I will be attaching the original PowerPoint, and if you have any questions or any alterations that you want me to make, please just contact me and I will make that happen. So, for this assignment, we were asked to do research and present that research in the form of infographics. So this is my reference page. These are references that I'll be using throughout the entire PowerPoint and infographic, and ones that are particular to certain information or that are not included here will be included in those individual slides. So, with that, let's start. So, social media usage in adolescence. It has always been popular. This statistic actually surprised me. With the dawn of social media in between 2005 and 2006, it was already quite popular. It had begun taking off at that point, as 52% of adolescents were already using it. And this is just unanimous upward growth that even just into the modern day just becomes crazy. Around 2012, you have 71% of adolescents. In 2016, you have 83% of adolescents. So it's always been popular. It's been popular since the beginning, from MySpace and early day Facebook into the modern Instagram and TikTok usage. Adolescents love social media and they use it. So that brings us into a statistic I found a little mind-boggling is nowadays, 90 to 95% of adolescents use social media, and 46% of adolescents report being always online. Obviously, being always online is indicative of addictive behaviors, meaning that they, in some capacity, have their phone on them and are going through the internet or checking messages or participating in social media at all points given the day, which is obviously concerning. So, how does this correlate to what we've been going over in these projects and delving into in the class in general? How does this social media usage reflect or correlate with depression and anxiety? Starting with the beginning, depression, an estimated of 5 million adolescents ages 12 to 17 in the United States had at least one major depressive episode. This number is represented by 20% or 20.1% of the U.S. population aged 12 to 17. The prevalence of major depressive episodes was higher among adolescent females, around 29.2%, compared to males, 11.5%. The prevalence of major depressive episode was highest among adolescents reporting 2 or more races, 27.2%. How anxiety relates to this. Anxiety disorders are the most common mental health condition to affect teenagers. At age 13, about 8% of U.S. teens have a diagnosable anxiety disorder. By 18, up to 15% of teens experience symptoms of clinical anxiety disorder. Now, the correspondence of social media usage. The types of use and content children and adolescents are exposed to pose mental health concerns. Children and adolescents who spend more than 3 hours a day, and again, 46% report being online all day or more, 3 hours a day on social media face double the risk of mental health problems, including experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. This is concerning, as a recent survey showed that teenagers spend an average of 3.5 hours a day on social media. And when asked about the impact of social media on their body image, 46% of adolescents, number that keeps coming up, aged 13 to 17, said social media makes them feel worse. So we have this information. We know that in vast numbers, 90 to 95% of teens are using social media. And we have the 20.1% of the U.S. population has experienced major depressive episodes. We know that by 18, 50% of teens will experience symptoms of anxiety. So what does all this information together tell us? Unfortunately, it is mostly inconclusive with high heterogeneity. So this basically breaks down three major scientific journals that I went to research this, and unfortunately, just the results across the board were wildly inconclusive. Starting from the upper left-hand corner, we found a small but significant positive correlation between adolescent social media use and depressive symptoms. There was also high heterogeneity indicating substantial variations among studies. In the right-hand box, high heterogeneity along with the small overall effect size observed in the relationship between self-reported social media use and depressive symptoms suggests that other factors are likely to act as significant moderators of the relationship. We suggest that future research should be focused on understanding which types of use may be harmful or helpful to mental health, rather than focusing on overall use measures that likely reflect highly heterogeneous exposures. Now, the bottom left, adolescent reporting's problematic SMU, which is social media use, are particularly at risk of lower well-being. In many countries, intense social media use may be a normative adolescent behavior that contributes positively to specific domains of their well-being. Again, that doesn't go along quite well with the narrative that we're saying that this is bad for them. It really depends on the sample size. It really depends on the actual study and where you're getting your information from. In some cases, it does seem to be harmful. In a lot of cases, it does, but in some cases, it doesn't seem to really have much of an impact. So, on the bottom right-hand corner, our metrogressions show moderate but statistically significant correlations between problematic social media use and depression, anxiety, and stress. We did not find evidence of heterogeneity of these summary correlations by age, gender, or year of publication. Again, all these factors go into it because it's just such a broad breadth of the subject. And lastly, towards the bottoms, findings from 154,981 adolescents in 29 countries showed that consistent across countries problematic social media use indicated by symptoms of addiction to social media was associated with lower mental, school, and social well-being. In many countries, intense social media use indicated by frequency of use related positively to specific domains of well-being. So unfortunately, that's just a really unsatisfying answer. And like, you want to have that instinct that like, oh, social media is bad for teens and we want to attack it. But it just seems that the equation in of itself is just more complicated than that. How it affects students in the West who are using it too much versus the rest of the world, how it affects boys versus girls, how it affects even by like age and race. These all vary wildly. So what now? We know most adolescents use social media. We know that a large percentage, up to 46%, are always online and exhibit addiction-like symptoms. We have gaps in our full understanding of mental health impacts posed by social media, but at this point cannot conclude it is sufficiently safe for children and adolescents. We must better understand the answers to key questions, such as which types of content are the most harmful and what factors can protect young people from the negative effects of social media. So what do we do about it? So I found it to be very helpful, and I linked it again at the bottom. The Department of Health and Human Services kind of broke it down how we can tackle the problem of social media into two categories: children, adolescents, and parents. It also, in the actual findings, brought up how we can target companies this way and kind of hold them accountable, but I figured at our level and for the purpose of this project, children, adolescents, and parents is the most relevant information. So, with children, reach out for help. If you or someone you know is being negatively affected by social media, reach out to a trusted friend or adult for help. If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health crisis, call or text 988 for immediate help. Create boundaries to help balance online and offline activities. Develop protective strategies and healthy practices for your own social media use. See this tip sheet in social media use and mental health for healthy social media use created for and by young people. Be selective with what you post and share online with whom, as it is often public and can be stored permanently. Protect yourself and others from cyberbullying or other forms of online harassment and abuse. If you or someone you know is a victim of cyberbullying or other forms of online harassment and abuse, don't keep it a secret. Protect others by not taking part in online harassment or abuse. Avoid forwarding and sharing messages or images. Tell others to stop and report offensive content. Now, for parents, create a family media plan to help establish healthy technology boundaries at home, including social media use. For information on creating a family media plan, there is a link provided right there. Create tech-free zones and encourage children and adolescents to foster in-person friendships. It's very important. Model responsible social media behavior. Teach children and adolescents about technology and empower them to be responsible online participants at the appropriate age. Report cyberbullying and online abuse and exploitation. Work with other parents to help establish shared norms and practices and to support programs and policies around healthy social media use. And I added this last one in: monitor and manage screen time using the features on the devices to combat overuse. If most of us have an iPhone, it's an easy setting to turn on and actually track how much you're using throughout the day. And just having that knowledge and seeing, oh, I've been online 6 hours today, can be enough sometimes to shock people awake to see that they need to make some changes. So, with all of that, that is it. Thank you, and this has been my infographic submission for Project 2. Have a great day.